Okay, let's see who arrives now. This guy, they say he's the president of Finland, looking like the captain of a cruise ship. We need to get him a captain's hat later on. Okay, who the fuck is this guy? These Europeans all look like accountants. Yes, sir. I come to do your taxes. Okay, thank you, sir. Ah, the British Prime Minister. They say this guy is gay. I don't know if that's true or not. I just think he's a dork. Hey, this guy is definitely gay, and his wife is a man, and she beats him. Well, poor guy. Ah, Georgia Maloney. I love her. I told her and Elon that if they ever have a kid, they better name him Eloni Maloney. Ursula. I like that she calls me daddy. They all should when you think about it. Good day. I come to see my American daddy. Yes, thank you very much.
Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled webs of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sunset Rants. I'm your host, Biddy, and I'm here with my co-host, Valley. What's up, girl?
Hey, what's up? How was your weekend?
It was good. It was relaxing, thankfully. How was yours?
It was good. Some things came up, but you kind of gotta roll with the punches. It was really nice out this weekend, so got some sun and hung out. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, our weather here is still kind of bipolar. It's like 1 minute it's extremely hot. Today it was like 60. So I don't know. I love the cold weather, so I'm excited for the temps to get a little colder. Like I love this time of year. So we shall see. But yeah, you can find us on X. You can find me, Elizabitty213A, and of course the show itself on the real Roma_AK. Where can they find you, Valley?
So I am that Valley Girl, your common sense advocate. I go, through phases where I'm like active and burnt out with politics and then active again, but you can find me on X at thecalimelody. So
absolutely. Yes. And you do need to take a break from politics for sure. You got to have some balance in your life. That's why I watched some Saturday morning cartoons, but I think I watched it on Sunday. It was really nice. I watched some Looney Tunes.
What cartoons did you watch?
I found them I don't know if it was on YouTube or on Prime. I can't remember which one, but I was able to watch the current, well, not the current, but like the ones from my generation, like Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner and Coyote and like all of those, because those were my favorite. And I was just like sitting there with like the blanket around me like a child and just like watching for like an hour or two. It was great. But yeah, as we say, like we do have to take a break because we always have some like serious conversations to be had, especially, when we talk about politics. So why don't we get into it? We got the first story coming to you from Politico. This is our big story, basically. This is what on everybody's lips. It's Trump and Zelensky. They play nice during Oval Office meeting. President Donald Trump warmly welcomed Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky back to the White House on Monday for the first time since their blow-up in February, expressing a
And
new
he wore a
willingness.
suit.
And he wore a
Did you see that?
suit.
He was like
Yeah,
very, very dressed up.
kind of, sort of. Yeah, like he didn't have like a
Well,
like
for
a
him. For
a
him.
tie, but yeah, he did wear a suit.
Right,
And it's funny
right.
too, because one of the reporters pointed it out, and he was like, I think Trump like mentioned it, and he was like, this is the reporter that like said something to you last time about not having a suit. Because the reporter was like remarked on how good he looks in the suit or whatever, and there was like a really like funny back and forth. So that was like a cute moment. But yeah, so expressing a new willingness to back Ukraine's long-term security and a potential peace deal, even as he broke with European allies about their insistence that a ceasefire come ahead of any direct talks between Russia and Ukraine. Quote, "We are all working for the same goal," Trump said at the outset of the meeting with Zelensky and the 7 European leaders who accompany him in the White House. "We want to get this settled." Yeah, I mean, basically in a short answer, yes, we do. Everybody does. Both Trump and Zelensky characterized their one-on-one Oval Office meeting that preceded the coalition's gathering in the East Room as a positive and constructive discussion about potential security guarantees, which European leaders suggested would need to be similar to Article 5 of the NATO Charter, which deems an attack on any member nation to be an attack on all. Of course, Ukraine is not part of NATO, but this is something that kind of comes up all the time, is like NATO-like, Article 5 similar, and all this other kind of stuff.
They're like honorary, right? I mean, they're like honorary members at this point, right?
It's like
And
there, but
NATO,
like not official. Yeah.
right. And whatever NATO comes up with, it tends to, heavily be in favor of Ukraine.
Yeah, and basically when they're talking about this, is they're talking about the security agreements. I know you guys have heard that constantly as part of the negotiations between the two nations. And what that kind of would look like if they went towards the Article 5 of the NATO Charter, or similar, whatever, however they want to call it, is if there's a security agreement in place, is like, okay, we have a ceasefire, and if we have some kind of like a peace deal agreement, and Russia were to go against that or do something that challenges that, then then any one of these nations would have to do something about it. I mean, it's basically like NATO protections, but it wouldn't necessarily mean boots on the ground. For at least for the United States, it would, however, maybe some of the soldiers would be kind of in the area, or they wouldn't. Like they can use some kind of like technology, like drones and things like that, to kind of watch and make sure whatever lines are being drawn, as far as what areas are part Russia, what areas are part Ukraine, and things like that, or any kind of like conflicts that goes on that are not in favor of the peace deal agreements or whatever they come to. But so that's that. So there was a couple of things that came out today about that. Let's see. Trump wants to set this up in a way where this would be long-term. This is something that he's bringing up a lot, not a 2-year piece, and then the whole thing kind of starts again. We've talked about that, as well, as like, it just kind of seems like with these nations that are constantly fighting, they kind of go through this kind of down period where there's nothing going on, maybe just like little spats everywhere, but nothing major. And then it kind of leads to the next big war. So what Trump is saying is that he wants to be able to have these two nations negotiate something where it's long term. It's something that they can both agree on, to where if they can stick to those agreements and not come, there couldn't be any kind of like, maybe saying like Russia aggression in the future, being upset about whatever they think is going on with Ukraine, or vice versa. Trump says,
I was going to say, like, I think it just does become sticky though, right? Because, he talks about like this 3-step strategy, and I know you talked about the US not having boots on the ground, but I am actually seeing differently. And, I think what would be happening is that Putin's like approach to Ukraine is to basically continue on the war without further penalties, right? Without further people dying. But it's not necessarily, you know, they're not really in negotiation to end it as of right now, from kind of the impression that like I'm getting. I mean, Trump even says, like, I'm looking at a different article from the Times saying, I don't think you need a ceasefire. And he's doubling down on a position that he adopted after meeting with Putin. So, in a way, you know, he is going back and forth with Russia. Last week, the week before, he didn't like Russia. After meeting with Putin last week, now he is essentially changing his position to back Putin. And that, you know, whatever Putin wants, Ukraine should start thinking of on the back end. And like you said, it could be, you know, the US with like drones or more security, things like that. Trump kind of says like the US would be involved in security assistance for Ukraine as part of a deal to end the war. But it could also be boots on the ground because he's not providing any additional details of like what that would actually look like. And like knowing Trump, he could always change his position in regards to this as well, right?
He could. I mean, one thing's for sure that he keeps saying indefinitely is that there is not going to be any more money being sent from the United States
Right.
there. If anything, we are sending weapons that we're making to NATO, like we're selling them to NATO, and then however NATO wants to disperse it, that's, you know, on them, but we already know where they're going to be sending that.
Yeah.
The other thing, because, you know, that was a big argument with, I saw like, you know, a lot of media heads, they were talking about, you know, the ceasefire. And, you know, he did mention that as well as being something that would be positive, of course, because when you have a ceasefire, that's it, it's done. Like no more people die. There's also something, you know, in theory, there's also something that I heard from a correspondent for ABC that usually covers Russia. And they said that a ceasefire might give Putin an exit ramp to not have the trilateral deal that they're trying to do to have that long-term peace. So it might be something to where
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? So like, I understand, like, it's really, really sucks that we're in this to begin with. I mean, war is terrible anyway. And like getting out of it is never going to be like linear. It's going to be like a lot of moving pieces. I do know that Russia does want a lot of territory, some of which are already kind of assessed Russian control. There's like a huge
so I'm looking so I'm actually looking at a territory map. The source is the Institute for the Study of War with America, with American Enterprise. And so before the start of the year, Russia essentially had like Crimea, and then a little bit above that, and then an area called the Donbas.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, and then since the first of the year, they've haven't really gained that much territory. They're kind of gaining some more territory in the front of that area. And then obviously that borders Ukraine, but you're still having, you know, a lot of Ukraine that's not being touched. You're having Kyiv that's not being touched. You know, so that's essentially the area that they want to hold on to, right? It looks like they advanced about 10 miles since, it says in recent days, so I don't know, maybe like about a week or so. So they advanced from having the majority of the Donbas, if I'm saying that correctly, region. And then they've gotten about like 10 more miles east of that. And then
some of these areas, like the Ukrainian soldiers are actually there, you know, holding it down, like the ones, like the parts of Ukraine that Russia wants to, state as theirs. So
Right,
that's,
exactly. But it
and I
does
think
look
that's
like,
like in the negotiations with the security agreements as well. Like we'll allow you to basically have this like kind of sort of entry into NATO,
Mhm.
but you got to give us, some territory.
Yeah, but like again, and I believe we talked about this. You and I talked about this with exact figures on another episode, but like we America has like kind of been propagandized
Mm,
to think that Ukraine has lost more soldiers than Russia because of all of the, billions of dollars that we have like given them. But in reality, about 230,000 Russian soldiers have died since the beginning of the invasion,
mm,
according to estimates based on, published obituaries collected by independent news outlets like BBC News Russia. Not Russia state propaganda, right? Not like tenant media, not whatever else they have, like RTV
some
or,
kind
or
of
whatever
like
that is.
independent media
Yeah,
outlet.
yeah,
Yeah.
like from independent sources. And it says
Right.
that Ukrainian losses are actually estimated to be at least half of that figure. So not
Wow.
only is Ukraine, you know, larger, with, in
Lawson.
regards to the majority of their territory still being theirs, but their losses are actually estimated to being half of what Russia's lost.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so it is very interesting. The main thing is that Moscow and Russia in general does have a larger military, and that their population is 4 times larger than Ukraine's, so they're
Hmm.
able to like build back and kind of like fight back harder.
Right.
Which is why like NATO, is on their side. But
Mhm.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's
There's
very
another
interesting.
thing. I know. There's another thing that came up today that it didn't even cross my mind recently, but because the First Lady Melania Trump, she actually wrote a letter to Putin, and it's in
I haven't seen
regards
that
to,
yet, but I know
yeah,
people have been talking about it.
yeah, it was brought up today in the press conference, but between Zelensky and Trump, and they were talking about it. And Zelensky said that he brought a letter from his wife, the First Lady of Ukraine, to Melania, I guess kind of like a thank you or something, but like a private letter, because of missing children, from Ukraine since the start of the war. So
Are we
that's
able to
another
bring that
part
up?
of this. What, the press conference?
No,
Yeah, but
Melania's tweet, because I haven't seen it. Oh, I
oh
can just
no,
check it out.
I don't even know if there's a tweet about it. It's a private letter that she wrote to Putin regarding the children.
Oh,
Yeah, so
that's probably
that was
online
brought up
then.
at the press conference. So I don't know if it's
Okay.
something that we can read, but maybe. But yeah, it seems like the one that came from Zelensky, it was private to Melania Trump. So
Is it
there's
Melania?
that.
So she sent it to Putin, Melania Trump Putin letter, maybe?
Yeah, regarding the children.
Oh, Melania Trump wrote a personal letter to Vladimir Putin for Donald Trump to hand
Like,
over during Alaska summit. Interesting. She's a
mhm,
queen. I love her.
mhm. Yeah, so there's that aspect of this whole thing as well that we have to keep in our heads, and
Asking to protect children. Did you know that?
yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
it's in regards to the children, and Zelensky is basically saying that this is, that there are a lot of Ukrainian children that, what the way he says, has been taken by Russia since the start of the war. So I don't know the details of that, but whether or not, like, what happened, like there's children that are unaccounted for, and that are being harmed in general just because of everything that's going on. So it's just terrible. So I love that she's doing her part as FLOTUS, to bring in that kind of nurturing, like, don't forget about the children, guys, come on,
Yeah.
like, we have to come to an agreement. But yeah, so there's that. So there's the three-step process that he's talking about, is getting Putin to sit down in a bilateral meeting with the US to agree to steps towards peace that already happened. Get Zelensky to sit down in today's bilateral meeting with the US to agree to steps towards peace that happened today. And then
Mhm.
hopefully to get Putin and Zelensky to sit together to hash it all out in a trilateral meeting that involves the US, it's unclear if that will happen. Zelensky did say that he is open to that meeting. Whether or not Putin will be is another story. It might have to go through, mediators or something, as these talks have been, but we'll see. But yeah, there was a reporter that asked Zelensky, which was kind of interesting, if peace happens, would he be open to holding elections? Zelensky saying that we need to have safety going on in order to hold legal elections. So basically he's saying when war is going on, elections can't happen.
See, that's my thing, is that, say what you want about Putin, he has like a very high favorability rate within his own country. And Zelensky, was afraid to be challenged.
And there were those protests that we covered a couple
This is more of like a Cold War. You can still hold elections during this time. The reason that he, most likely, I don't know, right? But a theory could be that he, doesn't want to hold elections because he has a certain end goal with this conflict with Russia, and that if someone else were to be in a position of power, it could change those
at the
goals,
time of
right?
peace agreement. Yeah. I bet he would want his name on that as well. Yeah.
Exactly. So, just to summarize kind of before we move on here, we talked about the 3-phase strategy, and, Trump did formally drop his prior demand for a ceasefire. So like I said, like it's going to be like a slow process, and perhaps there is going to be, some type of pause and hopefully the number of innocent people that are dying and Melania Trump is, coming in. And even though the letter looks like it doesn't go into, specifics like we talked about, right? And that it's a very brief letter. It is, it says here, according to the Times, she's not directly referring to the tens of thousands of children who have been deported by Russia during the war, but she is saying, like, in quotes, every child shares the same quiet dream in their heart, whether born randomly into a nation's rustic countryside or a magnificent city center. They dream of love, possibility, and safety from danger.
Yeah.
So, she's generally just saying, please keep these people safe. It's like, he's always been about the children, like, especially with, the Be Best thing. And so, because there is a follow-up meeting with Zelensky, this is going to be a step forward. Hopefully, it's just, when you have this triangle of leaders, and what seems to be like a never-ending war, hopefully something can come to fruition. But at least these advisors say that, like, dialogue and not ultimatums is a path forward because of the complexity of the conflict. And I think Trump's advisors probably did whisper in his ear, and that's why he is, kind of like backtracking and being more careful with like his language and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be, like, even with Melania writing that letter, like, she can't just come out and say, like, it would be really nice if you just thought about the children and release the ones that you have. Like, she's gonna do it in like a diplomatic,
kind of cryptic.
Kind of cryptic, diplomatic, coming from, the First Lady of the United States. And kind of like, I'm not having a foreign negotiation talks, peace, whatever. That's not, my role. My role is to just kind of remind you of like what's really important in all of this. And what we really have to worry about is the families, the innocent people that are losing their lives, mostly the children. But yeah, so, we hope. And, what was great today, that I noticed a lot of the leaders pointed out that, they've had so much movement and so much progress towards a peace deal over the past couple of months, a lot more that they've had in years. So they were actually, giving some praise to Trump and telling him that he's been doing a good job as like putting himself in these conversations and being kind of like the middleman in between these two people, because Putin wouldn't, kind of come to the table before. Not like anybody was trying to get him to the table with like a huge amount of elbow grease, but it's good. It's good to hear. And however they have to figure it out, they're gonna have to figure it out. And neither one of them is gonna be extremely happy with the peace agreement. But hopefully they'll both agree and it'll be peace. And
We will see. I know we didn't even get to the social media trends in regard to this, but it does look like, it does look like a step forward. I think like both Democrats and Republicans can agree on this.
hope so.
And I think it's also very funny to me that, like, not haha funny, like weird funny, but like you're even getting praise from like Hillary Clinton, who's like, yeah, like, Trump should get the Nobel Peace Prize if we can establish peace. So, this shouldn't be a political.
I have an idea of like where she's coming from with that because of like everything that's circling around her. But yeah, no, I mean, I think like there's a lot, right? There's a lot of things that we all should just kind of unilaterally agree on, and this is one of them. Like, stop the fighting, stop all the killing, stop all the, all the destruction.
All right, absolutely. So
what do we got coming up next?
Yeah. So I have it pulled up. No, CNN. I never want to view your plans ever. Okay. So from CNN Politics, Texas Democrats return to the state as GOP pushes ahead with redistricting. So this is also a hot topic as well. You have the Texas House Democrats who fled their state to install a Republican redistricting effort returned on Monday, ending their 15-day holdout. So they didn't flee the country. Democrats returned to Austin on Monday, about an hour before the House was set to convene. And while they vowed to keep fighting, their presence allowed the House to establish the 2/3 quorum that will be needed to advance new congressional maps in a push backed by Trump. So shortly after the House Speaker Dustin Burrows gavelled the House into session, he did order the doors locked and said the Democrats who fled the state would be released into custody of a designated Department of Public Safety officer, a move intended to ensure they will be on hand when the chamber reconvenes on Wednesday. So, like,
I kind of wish this went on normally too in Congress. Like in the big, like, no, nobody's leaving until we come to an agreement, and we're not going on vacation. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Please be adults.
Right.
So, it's basically like, do you think if we were going to come back, we would have walked in today? Absolutely not. But we're going to become friends by the time this is over. We're going to have some good Mexican food together. I'm going to try to get away at some point or another. I'm kidding, he said Democratic State Representative Raymond Romero. I don't know. Like, I'm just like at the point where I'm like, I am like not taking politicians seriously. But it looks like the House Redistricting Committee did approve that redistricting map, right? So the Republicans have up to 5 U.S. House seats with a vote of 12-8 Monday evening. So this was very recent. And
we need to get past this too, because there's a lot of legislation that has to start happening in the Texas House. So like, this is kind of like, this whole thing has been stalling everything else that they need to get done. Different fundings for different things, because they have the power of the purse for that area.
It's interesting because now it looks like, let's see, who was saying this? Representative Jean Wu, of course, says we're returning to Texas more dangerous to Republicans' plans to when we left. It's a racist map and we're going to defeat it in court. Okay. Very racist.
God. Like if you guys would come up with something just like a bit more substantial, maybe people would actually listen to your arguments. I mean, maybe you do have a good argument. We just don't know, because you guys are always flouting this stupid stuff about racism and it's sexism and all the other isms. It's like, why don't you try going through a different playbook. Sometimes I
Yeah.
feel like they're intentionally throwing in the towel and just allowing the independent party to rise, and they're going to transfer all of these like Democrats over to the independent party so the independent party can start winning because they've destroyed the Democrat party. Because you have like Fetterman is probably going to run independent, we think like other people that we think are trying
Yeah.
to appease the middle ground, like even AOC, like after the election she was like, I want to know with you, why did you guys vote for Trump, and trying to reach out to people. So like sometimes I feel like you can't be this dumb, like you or at least, or maybe they just think that they still have enough support from people who are eating up this stuff, but like it
Um,
just seems so ridiculous to me.
I honestly think that the Democratic Party is going to continue to go left. I think with AOC, you have a lot of, disenfranchised uh, and disaffected, liberals that, are similar to, like, didn't quite join the Trump train, but like were Bernie bros. And
Mm,
so I think AOC does have appeal there. I think we
yeah.
kind of see what's playing with Mandami.
Yes.
I yeah, I don't think Fetterman will run independent. Um,
Unless he gets
but
primaried off the ticket,
yeah,
but yeah.
exactly. But I do think it is an interesting perspective because we see that happening with Eric Adams,
Hmm.
who
They're kind of
I think
leaving the
kind of has
door
a
open for
similar,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
who I think kind of in some regards has similar viewpoints as Fetterman, like tough on crime, right?
Hmm.
More of the moderate Democrats. But kind of just getting back to the article here, there now we have like a nationwide gerrymandering race. And Gavin Newsom, the majority of people don't like Gavin Newsom.
Hmm.
As someone who lives in California. And like I have friends, like I'm not, I'm not a tribalist. Like I have friends that are liberal. And they don't like Newsom. Like literally nobody likes Newsom, but
Hmm.
people are like credit where credit's due. He is trolling. He hired a social media team specifically, like gave this team a budget to dig up anything on Trump, to troll Trump, to troll. He ratioed like the hell out of Tommy Lauren earlier today,
Oh,
calling
really?
her woke. Like I think
Oh.
he's having groypers retweeting him. Like he's appealing to a lot of people right now. And he is basically saying, if you are doing this in Texas, we're going to show you what we can do in California.
Hmm.
Um, you're going to come up with a different map. We're going to come up with a different map.
Yeah,
And
I find that funny too. Like they wouldn't have done it to begin with. They've been doing this for so long. Like it's kind of funny
yeah,
that they're like, "Oh, because you guys are doing it, we're going to do it too." But it did probably give them like a kick in the pants to get it done now, rather than like sooner rather than later because of losing the 5 seats in Texas. And, they're trying to
yeah.
like kind
Well,
of equalize that out. But did you?
yeah. I mean, the 5 seats is going to, even though it's not on the same coast, right? It is going to essentially cancel out the, mid, like they're calling it the mid-decade redistricting. And it
Hmm.
says, unlike in Texas, the legislation under consideration will also require voter approval to override a constitutionally mandated independent redistricting commission.
Hmm.
So lawmakers would have to move quickly, and there is now a Friday deadline. So, I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know. I
and
know for sure though, like considering how uh intense Newsom is being, and
hmm.
honestly, like he's the only Democrat that's like actually stepping up, right? So, even if you like don't agree with him like as a person, like he's stepping up and he's turning heads and he is going to end up running for 2028.
Oh,
Like,
for sure. I mean, they're
like this
already
is
showing like pictures of,
yeah,
him
like this is all
against
by
JD
design.
Vance and all of that. Yeah. Did you see the whole thing
Well,
on
that's what I was
social
telling you.
media?
But that's
Yeah.
what I was telling you. So there was there's an X account. I don't know the name offhand, who put
Mhm.
a picture of, are you talking about the comparison with Gavin Newsom in high school, and he's like wearing the scarf, and he's like next to JD
Mhm.
Vance, he's wearing
Yeah,
like
the
a,
Burberry scarf. Relate to me, everyone.
yeah, and then you have the it's Vance just kind of, looking like a typical 17-year-old, right?
Like a
And
millennial, yeah. Like
so
chilling
a
in high school.
Groiper made that post.
Wow.
And Newsom retweets it, quote tweets it, and puts, "Yeah, I like that scarf." Like, this is getting
But
pretty wild.
I mean, he's got okay. So what I was trying to say before is like, I'm sure you've seen it because you're on TikTok. Like you scroll through. Have you seen the
Yeah,
whole movement with Spencer Pratt? You
yeah.
know Spencer Pratt? Okay. If you guys don't know who he is, he's the husband of what's her name?
Heidi
Uh,
Montag.
Heidi Meinsog. There we go.
Yeah,
And from like the days of reality TV and The Hills and all this other stuff. Anyway,
yeah.
so ever since everything went
My
down with all the
besties.
fires, right? Your bestie, Laguna Beach, y'all. But
My
but
head.
he's started like a huge movement. Like people are really really applauding him because he's bringing up like everything that's going on with like people still not being able to get permits to rebuild their homes, that only like 104 have been built. Is like 7,000 that were destroyed, and
And
and everything that's
and
going on. So
it's
he's got to
it's gonna
contend with this
become,
guy.
but it's gonna become Section 8 housing, which is
That's it. That's exactly what they're
crazy.
pushing. LA
Crazy.
2.0. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And so he's got people in his own state, people that have huge followings, people that are out there. I mean, I know Mel Gibson is, people have like seen him at press conferences talking about this, other celebrities and stuff, because this did happen in LA.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's got a lot to contend with his own people. So if there's going to be like a vote on whether or not they would redistrict, I don't know if they could be successful. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe, but
Yeah.
as you said, it's different in California than it is in Texas, the way that they would go about redistricting and getting that passed. So,
Well, not only that, but again, we do not require voter ID.
yeah. Oh, yeah, we will. We're going to talk about ID a little bit later too. But yeah, so I mean, that's another thing. I know Trump is also like, he's saying he's going to sign an executive order to do away with mail-in voting. So I wonder, but that's going to take a while. I know people are saying that he would like to get that kind of in place before the midterm elections, but it would be interesting if they can kind of push that through quicker. So that way, any kind of like voting or anything that happens, it could be a little more structured and not, chaotic. And, I mean, there was like the recall thing that happened with Larry Elder, and, everybody thought that he was going to win because of everything that Newsom was doing in that state.
You
And
know,
a lot of people still
I'm
think,
I'm gonna tell you, we did not think he was gonna win. There was an effort. There was an effort, but I mean,
it wasn't.
being in California, no, there wasn't nearly enough traction,
Mm,
unfortunately.
it's really sad. I mean, it's kind of like the same thing in New York. Like, we just keep like voting for our own demise. I don't, obviously, but it's just I'm surrounded by people that do. All right, so we're gonna actually we have a really tragic story coming out of Florida that happened, that we're gonna kind of give you an update on. So we're gonna talk about that. So from the West Palm Beach TV, 3 dead after semi attempts to make U-turn on Florida's Turnpike in Fort Pierce. So, WPTV is learning more about the semi-truck crash that shut down the northbound lanes of the Florida Turnpike in Fort Pierce on Tuesday. The Florida Highway Patrol is describing the wreck as a homicide investigation after 3 people were killed. The crash led to the shutdown of all northbound lanes for several hours, causing significant traffic delays. According to the Florida Highway Patrol's crash report, a semi-truck was driving northbound in the right lane of the turnpike as a Chrysler Town & Country minivan was traveling north in the turnpike's left lane. From the right lane, the semi truck attempted to make a U-turn at an official use only turnaround area near mile marker 171, crossing in front of the vehicle in the left lane. The driver of the vehicle was unable to avoid the truck, wedging the minivan underneath the truck. Witnesses and law enforcement observed tire marks at the scene where the semi attempted the illegal maneuver during the middle of the afternoon. 2 passengers inside the minivan, a 37-year-old woman from Pompano Beach and a 54-year-old Pompano? I don't know how to say that. And a 54-year-old man from Miami died at the scene of the crash. The driver of the Chrysler, a 30-year-old man from Florida City, was flown to HCA Florida Lawnwood Hospital, where he did succumb to his injuries and pass away. The driver of the semi and the passenger, both men in their 20s from California, did not sustain any injuries. WPTV spoke to Carlos Portela, licensed truck driver with 25 years experience and a manager at Centerport Inc., to get his thoughts on the wreck. They expressed, his belief that the semi driver was at fault. So yeah, this is very interesting in that there's one big part of this whole thing that needs to be pointed out. The driver was an illegal immigrant, and he was able to obtain a CDL license in California. That's the part that this is what made it national news, what people are talking about. The driver was 28-year-old Harjinder Singh. According to NBC South Florida, said they have been digging into the driver's background and that they now know that Singh entered the U.S. illegally back in 2018 via the U.S.-Mexico border and obtained a commercial driver's license from California. They said that they emailed California's Department of Motor Vehicles to get details about Singh's qualifications, but surprise, they have not yet responded. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says 5,936 people were killed in traffic crashes involving large trucks in 2022, about 5,800 in 2021. Singh now faces 3 counts of vehicular homicide. The Florida Highway Patrol is now leading the investigation. I actually went on the California Commercial Driver's Licenses website, and it does have some qualifications. So you have to show proof of identity documents. You have to have a valid unexpired. Yeah.
So I mean, look, when you typically go to the DMV, you need to show your California driver's license, or a real ID, a real California ID, which they're now combining the two. And you also need bills in your name. So you need, don't quote me, because you have the website up, but you need two different bills. And it's interesting because I was browsing on X earlier today, and I was seeing people that were posting screenshots of driver's licenses, California commercial driver's licenses, that did not have last names. It said no name given. And I'm baffled, because the DMV experience that citizens have, at least, they are beyond strict. Very, very, very strict when it comes to how you can obtain it. So, it looks like he was given a work permit under the Biden administration after being denied by the Trump administration.
Yeah, he was also supposed to be deported back in 2019 that I looked up on the Post. I think this might actually, I don't know if that's the same article I'm looking at, but
I think so.
An Indian national who was previously processed for deportation but was able to stay after claiming he was afraid of being sent back to his home country. And so he sent back. So he was released on a $5,000 immigration bond in January of 2019 and has remained in immigration proceedings ever since. but yet he's driving a huge semi truck with a CDL approved license across the country. So there is going to be, this can't be the end of this story. I mean, there's got to be
Oh
a
wow,
lot
that is
of people looking
gnarly.
into this. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
photo is heartbreaking.
it's so bad. There was
That's insane. That's
Jane,
insane.
there was an actress. You know that the girl from, she's like the daughter. She's like on Law and Order SVU or something, Mary Kay or something like that. Forgot her name. She's the daughter of Jane Mansfield, who was like an actress back in the
Oh,
golden age of
Mariska.
Hollywood.
Mariska.
Yeah. So the
Yeah,
bar that's on the
her
back of the trucks is actually called the Mansfield bar. So that way you don't go on, like if you crash into the truck from behind, you don't go under, because that's what happened to her and her family. So this is kind of like the same thing, only it was sideways, so they were able to go under and get crushed by the truck.
Malgara says, God, I saw the footage. Truly horrifying. I have not seen the footage. I don't know if I
It's surreal
have
to watch.
the stomach for it. Like,
Yeah.
so
And the
this
reaction
is,
from the driver is really odd too.
yeah,
Kind of
so Newsom gets into the mix, right? And Newsom essentially says, Governor Gavin Newsom's office had an ex post after it accused the Trump administration of issuing the work permit and either lying or acting clueless about it. And then they essentially got checked. Like they got checked.
Mhm. Yeah, he
And
was all
it says
nonchalant.
that his work authorization was initially rejected under the Trump administration on September 14, 2020, and later approved under the Biden administration. So less than a year later, he was able to even reapply.
Mhm. Right.
That
Yep.
doesn't even that doesn't even make sense to me. He made a very hard left turn while driving a tractor trailer on the Florida Turnpike on the cross the median through the official use.
Yeah, it's like one of
only.
those U-turns that like are for ambulances or cops. You know, like
He
only
wasn't
they can
even
use them.
injured.
Oh no, they never are. The people that you know do this kind of thing and crush other people, they always seem to walk away unscathed.
It looks like he was unfazed at the moment. I highly doubt
It
they did
was weird.
this, but like a homie should have been tested for, you know, what was in his system and if it could qualify for a DUI.
Like more charges. Yeah.
Yeah, or any type of narcotics or anything, because being that unfazed, that's
It's really odd. Like even his even the gentleman in his passenger side was like kind of unfair. Like he was like sitting with his legs up in the air and just kind of like, oh, what was that? Like, you know, it was
whoops.
really crazy. Yeah, whoopsie. Yeah, yeah. So I hope that they look into this more, because I doubt that this is a one-off situation where somebody who has a legal status obtained a CDL license. I think that this is happening all over the country, and I think that there has to be like, I don't know, maybe just like a task force just set up just for this specific instance and see how many people are out there driving these things that are basically weapons. You know, I mean, they're these huge trucks, and they're, you know, as you can see, like, and just like that, you know, lives could be lost.
And speaking of weapons, right, the side that says we should have gun control are going to be completely silent about this.
Mm-hmm. I just wish more people. Yeah, like I wish more people would be more inclined to kind of like listen to, you know, different sides of it, even if it kind of like, you know, goes against like what your beliefs are. It's just insane. But yeah, like we're always saying on this show, is like there has been a lot of destruction that happened to this country just in the past few years. You know, a lot of little nuanced things that have been able to go on that need to be fixed. So there's a lot on the table that still need to happen. But as we always say, just sending prayers to the families of the ones that were lost, and it's just insane. And I really, really hope
I
that
hope
they
they're
look
able to
into
sue.
this.
I truly hope
Yeah.
they're able to sue. That's
Yeah.
like,
Yes, because also, right, the company that hired, I don't know, but see, then, I don't know what his CDL license and everything else looks like. But then, if you get
I
hired
think
from
it
a
would go
company,
above.
yeah,
I think it would go above the company, because if he had the proper documentation,
then what are they
I
gonna
think this is
say?
like honestly gonna have to be a case versus the state of California.
Which they would actually be very smart, maybe, to do that now, even if it's just playing politics. Do it now. I mean,
Yeah.
we can use their stupidity of playing politics for the betterment of everybody else, of all of us. It's insane. All right. So are you ready for our palate cleanser, Allie? I think we always by the time we get here, we're like, yes, please. Let's get on with Caption This. Bump it. All right. So if you're new to the show, this is the segment we call Caption This. It's a game that we play at the end of every Sunset Rants episode, and it's an AI generated photo that you have showing there up on the screen. And we ask you, the audience, to please participate and give us a funny caption. Valley and I will choose the one we think is the funniest at the end. And right here we have some miners mining marshmallows for everybody. So heroes don't always wear capes, kind of thing. Even though I'm not really a big marshmallow lover. I kind of like it, but I like it in hot chocolate. But I can't just eat a marshmallow. Anywho.
Oh no, those are some dirty marshmallows.
They are dirty. That's true. That's true.
I don't know if I want marshmallows covered in dirt.
Dirty. Salt mining.
Oh my god.
Let's see what we got.
That just reminded me of Christina Aguilera. I don't know, my millennial brain went there. Too dirty to clean my act up. You know what I'm talking about?
Is that her song?
Beginning, it was the beginning of her song, Dirty.
I can't remember now. I just remember that I wanted that hair, and I went somewhere to get it done, and they turned my hair green. So maybe I just blocked out that whole phase.
Wasn't it blonde and black?
It was supposed to be double processed white.
Little rose or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said this, I showed a picture and I said, this is what I want. And it ended up being chocolate brown and green. Suffice to say, I had to wear a hat for months while scrubbing with clarifying shampoo every day.
Oh, man.
Brian said that's where marshmallows come from, I swear. Probably.
Yeah, probs.
Jennifer says the marshmallow dig out chocolate mine. That's cute. It ain't much, but it is sweet work. Aw. Oh, everybody's being so cute.
Wait, mellow mining for Epstein? Oh, don't.
Where is that? Oh.
Yeah.
I'm looking on the screen, looking at my phone, looking over there. I'm like, where? Mellow mining. Who took the toilet paper?
I know. I don't have anything for this. I truly don't.
I know. I'm just leaving it to you. I feel like we've gotten to a stage where we can just let you guys rock, which is good because I can't always come up with things. Sometimes I'm just I'm trying to be dark, but I can't think of anything, Mulgera. Try to be cutesy. Think of something cutesy.
Cutesy.
All right. So we got salt mining. We got mellow. Salt mining was cute. Mellow mining for Epstein. When the Lollipop Guild outsources their labor.
Yeah.
No. No cutesy. Just a bunch of dudes doing dude stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Seven Dwarfs after they were told by Biden that John Hammond has a job for them in the caves from magical prehistoric maple syrup.
Even get there.
I can't fit that on t-shirt. It'll be like up here, and in the back. Gotta get that Himalayan salt. Yeah, I have Himalayan salt that I never use. I use Celtic sea salt. I wish I use Himalayan salt because I have this huge jug. I'm over here trying to scroll up on the screen. Let's see. Okay. All right, so we got like a few minutes, maybe just like give it until 9:57. Diabetes mine.
I kind of like Navas's.
Actually, which one? The Lollipop Guild one?
The Lollipop Guild outsources their labor.
That was cute.
Yeah.
Tell Snow White this is where the seven dwarfs were. Aww.
Okay, I'm voting for Navas's first one.
Okay. All right, so that's it. You got yours.
Yeah.
I think I might agree. I like that one too. The Lollipop Guild. Don't ask where this stuff comes from. I'm actually glad because I thought somebody was gonna bring up Hunter Biden and nobody did. I guess we're past that. RFK Jr.'s nightmare. Yeah, probably. Sorry, Rachel Zegler. All right, a winner, Navasa. Yeah, I think we got our winner. All right, so can we? So where was that one? Can we scroll up just a little bit, Brian? I think it's just like a little bit up, like a smidge. Yeah, when the Lollipop Guild outsources their labor. So congratulations, Navasa. You won caption this for tonight. Yeah, thank you guys for all your submissions. That was cute. I like the cutesy stuff, so that was adorable. I really like that picture too. Like these images are getting really good. But yeah, thank you guys so much as always for joining us on Sunset Rants. I hope you had a wonderful Monday. You'll see us again on Wednesday, same time, same place. Of course, we got Tay and D tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same place. And yeah, you have anything you want to shout out or? I just always do that too. I can't. I'm like not the segue queen, so I can't do this. I don't know what to do. I'm just like, do you have anything?
I'm the segue queen, but like, we didn't even get to half our stories, so I'm pooped.
Yeah. I think we spent like an hour on the first one. My glasses are actually foggy. But yeah, thank you guys. Foggy. Thank you guys so much for everything. Don't forget you can use the QR code at the top of the screen, riseofmiddleamerica.com. You join our Discord. Come hang out with us because we're in there like chilling and stuff. Like you can hang out with us there. You see all of our shows. We got a lot of great shows going on right now. Navas is actually on the sports show that's Wednesday nights at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, along with AK and Gargi. So if you didn't know, we do have that sports show. A lot of the people in the chat do show up for that. So thank you guys. And I think we got the drive-in tomorrow. We got just a whole bunch of stuff. We got FAFO on Friday. There's going to be a huge thing, so look out for that. I don't know if it's going to be a call-in show for FAFO on Friday. So if you want to be able to call in for FAFO Fridays, you're going to need to join the Discord. That's the way where it's going to happen. So definitely do that. And yeah, I just hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
All right. See ya. Bye.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.